the LinkedIn messages which I get, right? Anitha, this was very useful and this blog was very helpful. We were stuck for this issue and this blog and your blog helped me. That seriously makes my day.
Hey everyone, my next guest was born in India but now resides in the UK. She's been working in AX and D365 for over 17 years, and she actually knows how to configure Exapta 3.0. She is a developer by trade, something that's very close to my heart, and she's worked her way up to becoming a digital architect. She loves integrations and helping others to understand the safe and straightforward way to do things. A few years ago, Anitha Eswaran felt the urge to document her learnings and the research into a Dynamics blog, and in time, her expertise and commitment to the community was recognized with an MVP. Please welcome Anitha. And a good evening and a good to you, Anita, and a good morning to myself, 9 p.m. over there. And it's 6 a.m. over here in Brisbane. I'm so happy to meet you. How's things?
Good good morning, good evening, Chris. Happy to meet you as well. Yeah. So how
I'm
is
really
weather in
excited.
Brisbane here?
So, living and working in Brisbane is great. We have like it's tropical. So we have all the tropical fruits, and I'm in a country town 1.5 hours north of Brisbane. So it is just like a sleepy, and there's a great beach here. So literally every day, most of the people go to the beach, start the day. I'm at the beach now, and it's you start your day with a coffee and a swim, and
Uh,
then you get on with the rest of the day. What's your start to your morning?
I this now the days are long here. So usually by 4 o'clock you will have a good light here. So otherwise I usually start my day at five o'clock because I need to get things ready and then I start my work by around 7:30 and then it goes on. And if since you have told me about the beach side, I remember I stayed in Malta 2 years before. So that was a complete
Okay.
island. It's wonderful, like how you said, I could imagine where people used to come to beach, where they start their day, they go for a walk, and that is literally very pleasant to watch. The hearing the sea sound, right? That seriously that enlightens your day.
That's true. I also think of tsunami happening. Maybe it's just
Ah,
me and my childhood. Every time I hear the beach at nighttime, I go, "That's so soothing," but it also could be death.
yes, agree.
So tell me, in Malta, were you contracting there?
Yes, I was working as a contractor in Malta. So earlier I was working for a company called as Intelligence IT. So it was UK based, but I was able to remotely work from Malta. And so there I spent 2 years. So whenever people say it's Malta, they will say it's a complete seaside where you will get awesome weather, but you will have a very harsh summer, but people can bear with it. It is just since I am from an Indian background, it's typically where the infrastructure, everything similar to. I didn't feel that I am away from home. It's like feel like I was living in India. It was like that.
Wow, I thought you were about to say the UK. Okay, because there's lots of contracting roles for Malta. I get contacted by recruitment agents saying that, would people in Australia be willing to shift to Malta? But anyway, yeah. So, okay, so tell us about the arc of your jobs that you've had, the education that you had. Was it in India or the UK? And yeah, tell us about your history towards
Yeah.
becoming an
So
MVP.
yeah. So I did my education in India, Tamil Nadu. So I am from Coimbatore. So basically the Tamilian. So I did all my schoolings and college in Coimbatore. And then I started my career in 2006. It's been almost 18 years I am traveling with this ERP. It was then called as Microsoft Dynamics AX, where we have a blue screen and then we enter all these credentials. So I still remember that how AX, I am growing with AX. So now it was earlier it was AX, now it is D365 FO. So then I had some, I mean, initially I had to take some time to get a grip on how AX is getting along. Then after that, it took some 2, 3 years for me to get a good grip. Then after that, okay, I slowly started understanding the core concept because there are various versions coming every time. So almost you will have AX 3.0, AX 4.0, AX 5.0, AX 7, and now it's still evolving, right? So obviously we need to keep
Mhm.
updated ourselves with the technology. And that is where I am here. And now we have an various opportunity work with integrations. Like it's not only you are with the FNO world, the dynamics world, it's not going to operate alone. So you will have some external application which will be communicating with this ERP, right? So it's interesting to learn about the other additional middleware as well. So that is where my journey started and it's still continuing by God's grace.
I'm so happy for you. I'm a developer. I started developing games when I was a young boy, and to hear about your software engineering makes my heart beat faster. It's awesome to speak to you. Tell me about software engineering and why you feel so close to it compared to maybe functional or any other aspects of D365. What's the bit that makes you happy about writing code?
No, being a, see, as you said, me, I am a core developer. But obviously, even if we are a developer, we need to know a bit of functional as well, right? So as a part of my learning, as a part of my job, I make sure when some responsibility is assigned to me, I am not only focusing on the technical, but I take that opportunity to learn a bit of functional as well. So in that way, I can understand, okay, this is what the entire process is, and I can guide my team. Hey, if you
Yes.
make this change and that will affect the other process. So make sure you don't break that process. So this is how, because being an architect, I need to guide my team. So it is not that I need to focus only on a small part of that process, correct? I need to know the bigger picture so that when I am guiding my team to make some changes, make sure the other process is not breaking and that other integration, other middleware is also not interrupting here. So in that way, I take an opportunity to learn from the functional side as well. Press.
Yes, a lot of developers, I've noticed, typically stay within the coding area. So they say, what specific screen or report do you want me to fix or change? And then they start hacking away the code. And literally what you said, they try to give you, but they don't add the value of saying, well, did you know there's a report over here that does it? Or did you know that if you break this other thing will be
Yes.
affected? So should they be going for some sort of certification beyond writing code? For example, functional certification. So at least they can, talk that bit through.
Agree. So because now Microsoft Learn, I always refer the Microsoft Learn. So I'm my most favorite, the URL. If I want to know something about it, go to Microsoft Learn. You have ample articles there, right from if you want to learn the ABCD of Dynamics, whatever it is, you will find an article there. So if you are also wanted to try being a developer, if you want to know the basics, at least for functional, go to Microsoft Learn, do some certification, understand the cross because you have a practice assessment as well. It is for free actually. It is not chargeable. So at the end of the module, you can even take some system assessment. It's like a mock assessment for you. So where you will be able to assess whether you are able to meet that criteria and accordingly you can prepare. So this is how I usually do. And even in case, even if you are not ready to for any certification, make sure because we need to learn the peripheral areas as well there, right? Not only the technical is our area. So understand the bigger picture of it and make sure when you are delivering a code, it is not breaking anything else. That is one of the responsibility we as a developer should hold.
True, true. So how do you then manage these developers? Are you a person who goes through each of the minute details on what you want the process to be, or have you found a better way of managing people?
Yeah, first, me being in the architect position, I will be getting a detailed picture of what is expected from the functional. Because even I am not completely a functional, I understand, but I make sure I get the understanding what is expected. And then I literally drill them. Hey, this is what is happening. What happens if you do like this? So I literally drill them and get all the details. And then I spend some time with my developer team and then see this is what is expected. Try this. I will not be spoon feeding them. Try it on your own. See, this is possible or that is possible. Do all sorts of investigation, and then this
Hmm.
process has to be brought in place. So I pitch in only when there is a need because instead of spoon feed him, let them investigate. So in that way, they can learn something, correct? Everybody will have their own approach of bringing the logic, right?
True. Have you had to let people go, and how do you make that decision whether a developer is beyond saving? I have to, they're hanging onto your boat and they're going, save me. You could throw them a life ring, or do you let go of their hands and you say, goodbye? I don't have
No, no,
time for
no.
this.
No, see, managing time is obviously, see, we will have a plan where we also have a task to do, correct? But I cannot leave
Mm,
my team as such. Okay, I make sure, okay, at least please wait. See, I am in mid of a task, but I am sure I will come back to you. At least I will make them wait, but I will not say no to their ask after my task is done, because we have some priorities as well, correct? So because my
mm.
manager will be waiting for my deliverable, so I finish them and then get back to them and make sure this is working. I sit, at times a debugging is also necessary, so I help with the
Mm.
debugging and then try to give the proper solution.
I get you. That's fantastic. Tell me about then, how did you get this attitude towards life? Who was the person in your family that, changed the way you were?
Obviously that is my husband. So even if you
Oh,
see the blog,
okay.
yeah, I can say he's if I am here in this getting all this newsletters, blogs, the inspiration is from my husband. So we both are from the same domain. So he used to write the articles regularly few years back, but since he's got with multiple projects assignments now, but then I took over from him. Okay, let me start writing the blog, and then I started writing all the blogs and then the newsletters. So from him I got the energy, and even few minute things like how I said, helping the team, how to guide the team, okay, and what are all the best practices you should follow when you as a developer. All these I learned from him. So obviously I can say he is my inspiration.
That's fantastic to have someone who works in the same domain. My partner also works in D365, and it's so interesting to hit a roadblock, come to a dead end, and then your partner says, "Why don't you try this?" And then you go, "Oh my gosh, that's it!" But I get the
That's
credit for it, right?
correct. Yeah.
Okay, so going back earlier in your childhood, what was the hurdle that you had to overcome? So, for example, with Ramit, he was telling us about his childhood coming from a middle to lower class life. And a lot of the times he would see people enjoying themselves, and he had to work to help support his family. And there's a bit of suffering in that. And then from that came the fact that he grew in character and he's able to deal with all these problems later in life because he learned to manage his anxiety. He learned how to take responsibility. What happened to you in your life that made you such a stable, great manager, and then someone who could also multitask with family, with work, with being an MVP?
Yes, even my childhood was not so easy. It's not, it's, I can say it's a life of thorns. So obviously, but that had, uh, you can maybe because since I have faced various challenges in my childhood days, maybe that has made me strong, I can say. So my
Mm,
parents, they made sure, though we had so many difficulties, my parents, they made sure I had a good education. Me and I have
mm.
my sibling, my brother, elder brother. They made sure we got a good education, whatever the difficulties we had. And maybe we had few things which we could not meet, but nevertheless, see, life is always some or other challenges keeps coming, right? So we should not look what we don't have, what we didn't get, but we should look for the blessings what we have. That is what I learned from my life. And obviously, as soon as I landed in a job, I made sure everything is done, everything is made proper for my parents. And then, yeah, obviously, the best life partner I have got, who supports me in everything, in all my ups and downs, be it personal or professional. He is there for me for everything. And MVP, if I am here for MVP, obviously the credit goes to my twin boys as well as my husband. Because sometimes I need to get take their time to write my blog, be it blog or newsletters, or even I need to extend some help to my teammates. It is the time I had to spend with them, correct? But I take that time and spend for my for my team or my growth. So the credit goes to them. So this is all. It's just a simple one. So just a simple comment on the viewers. See what you don't have, but see the blessings what you have got. that makes the life happier.
Yes, I think even in the top of your LinkedIn profile, you say, don't be the same, be better. How
Yes.
did that happen? And you said life advice.
Correct. Yeah. We should have every day we should keep learning something or other. See, go, everyone has 24 hours time, right? See, at times every day we will not have the same time to manage the work, but we make sure at least 10 or 15 minutes if we spend on our learning, that would obviously see you will end of the month you will see some growth, because now professionally if you see in dynamics ecosystem you have many updates coming every day. It is
Yes.
not that we cannot keep chasing every time, but that is where the newsletter and the blog helped me, because I have seen so many people sharing the updates via their newsletter and blogs, and because of that only we are able to get the latest updates. So then I thought, why can't I spread this knowledge to my community members? So that is where I started the newsletter here. So with that, at times the LinkedIn messages which I get, right? Ha, Anita, this was very useful and this blog was very helpful. We were stuck for this issue and this blog and your blog helped me. That seriously makes my day.
Wow. Okay. And then tell me with the users, you mentioned about your blog. All of our readers are typically D365 consultants. What about users? Do you find that they're left in the dark over many of the changes that are made to Microsoft products? Because we get the stream. I can't absorb enough. I see you're into AI big time now. How do you feel about users? Should they only know what we wish to release, or do they need a more general forum to learn about these things?
Yeah, of course. Since they are also as a part of this ecosystem, at least not to our level, at least they should at least have some understanding. And that is where our blogs and newsletters comes into picture, right? So they can at least refer to our blogs. Okay, this is what is the latest update happening in this dynamics. Okay, this can be implemented. And if they don't find I mean, everything they cannot understand. But in case if they are finding any difficulties, obviously there are many members to help them. Even today, I had some issue in my project, and then I reached out to my LinkedIn colleague. Hey, this is what I am facing, and what might be the issue, because I have seen this in your blog, and he immediately responded to me. See, so this is how we interact and exchange our knowledge. So even for users, if they are not unable to understand something, obviously our community is here to help. We have so many dynamics community here, LinkedIn community here. We can exchange and share the ideas.
Do you find it easier working at a consulting firm compared to an end user? Your preference has always been for consulting firms.
I
Why?
prefer to be a consulting firm, yeah, because you can learn a lot. I feel, see, it is not that if you are as a user, it is not that you will not learn a lot, but if you're in a consulting firm, you will get involved with various projects, right? Various types of challenges. Frankly speaking, I start my day with one plan. Okay. And when I open my laptop, when I start my day, that would be a different plan. So many users, many issues will be waiting for me, and it takes a U-turn. But still, at end of the day, if I see, that will be a learning for me. So I always prefer working for this for me.
I agree. Tell us about your journey towards being an MVP. I know that you said a couple of years ago you took over the blog, and that started your, inspiration to write more often. Was it happening in your mind? I want to be an MVP years before that, or did it also trigger this start?
So MVP idea I didn't had when I started the blog. I started the blog when just as a thought that I wanted to share my learnings with our community members, because if it might be simple for me, the blog which I am writing might be simple for me, but it would help some other people who are facing that challenge at that time. So with that sole concept in mind only, I started writing the blog. Be it simple, or I keep mostly the picture speaks in my blog. So I keep most
Mhm.
of the screenshots so that users will be able to relate the screen what they are saying with my blog post. So all this I keep, and as it progresses, and those days LinkedIn was not much active in 2008 2010. LinkedIn was not so active, right? So
Mhm.
recently when I started seeing many posts in LinkedIn, okay, MVP, then okay, and before that I started the newsletter also. Fine, that is a part of, I didn't know even those contributes to MVP. I didn't know that, because okay, since it is, we have a feature of newsletter where people can easily go to newsletter and read rather than going to clicking the blog. I thought I can start the newsletter. So these are all some, and on top of that, I started participating in sessions as well. There were so many sessions I used to give for the integration. Of course, integration is my favorite topic. So I started giving many sessions for the integration with many communities. So maybe that was one of few of the factors which contributed my success to reach MVP there.
You know what I'm trying to understand about you is that you're a very hard worker. And I see you put so much effort. And whenever I try to pin you down on your brilliance, you take the light and you shine it onto someone else. You say, it's my two sons. Or you shine it on your husband and you say, this man is a great man. I even try to ask you about your brilliance about, say, integrations, and you say, it's my team. What is it inside you that wants to share this stage with all of the people who are around you, but you're doing the work? I know you're doing the work. How come you want to share the love, the joy with them? Tell me about that.
So anyway, if nothing, I mean, there is a saying, right? Only if you have two hands, you can clap. So it is like individual effort, you can reach to some extent, but only if it is a team effort, you will be able to achieve something. See, as a team, I have seen, I am a good team player because I know how to manage the team to some extent. So because we meet different types of people, right? So we should be a good, being an architect, I made sure I should be a good team player and I should have a rapport with my team, right? Because only then they will be able to approach me for, hey, Anita, this is what I am facing the issue. Would you help me? If I am not having that rapport with them, obviously they will not reach out to me, right? So I made sure I have the rapport with them, be a good team player, and then share the ideas. Hey, give a try with this, give a try with that. I leave them to try out their ideas as well. On top of it, if they are stuck, I will share my ideas as well. So this is how I build a team, and then obviously together as a team we grow.
It's true. I see how also if for some reason you're distracted doing something else because you're building capability in the team, they are covering for you as well. Whereas if you just kept all your secrets to yourself and just did, I don't
Right.
know, the fixing and not sharing it, I could imagine you're very scared all the time because they're not covering for you. Integrations. Most people believe that D365 is just the center of the universe. They dream of it. And I know, having come from enterprise background, there's over 100 other apps often in big companies. Those other applications are always ignored. Maybe we're forced to do, two or three integrations. Tell me about your love of integrations because maybe there's 50 apps that need to be integrated into D365, but people are rarely doing it. Tell me about integrations.
Integration, I started my integration journey 5 years back, and it was with Logic Apps. It was completely new to me, and the credit goes to my manager because it completely relied on me. Anita, you take the charge, fix this, start working on Logic Apps because this is the requirement asked by our client. Nobody has any idea on Logic Apps. I give you full freedom to explore it. Obviously there was nobody to help me, but the thing, one blessing was we had lots of resources from the LinkedIn, the community, and from there I started getting more knowledge. But when it when we go to the main system, when it goes live, we will know what are all the actual challenges we will face. So that is also a part of my learning. So and then from that first project I learned, from the mistakes I learned, these are all the things I should do, these are all the things I should not do. So if you see one of my sessions, I would have told what are the factors you should consider when you plan for integration. So that is a part of my learning. So I shared it with our community members. So if you go for integration, these are all the factors you should see so that it is not going to be a flop at least. So that I made sure. So obviously integration, even if you are integrating with 50 applications, understand the requirement, take the best fit for your integration. Don't just blindly go with, okay, this is which this one is already we have done, okay, we will follow the same path, because the integration which is working for one scenario, it might not work for the other scenario. So all this we need to gain a better understanding and then arrive at the integration approach.
Yes, my friend Rob Nicholas taught me about this idea of loose coupling versus tight coupling. So consider this. when I write in the old days, when I used to write an integration, I might need to put some master data or push some transactional data, right? So I would just open up the connection, find the selected records, and move it. And then he taught me about this way called loose coupling, which is expect it will always be interrupted. Something's going to break all the time, expect it. And so he would then keep some sort of log where he would, when he moved this record or copied it, he would put an ID of what he copied it to. And from there, he would put an ID of where it copied it from. And so there was a two-way ability to track and trace. And then he would say, imagine if it stopped and I restarted the service, the integration, how would it restart? And then he would make it that it would look up the records that haven't been done yet, compare what's been done, and then only do the difference. And because he taught me about this idea of loose coupling, I started doing all my code like that. And then people could turn these babies off and on, no matter what, even if it crashed. And it would always wake up and start, and it would always end up with a perfectly balanced number of records. The dollar value would be the same. What do you think about that idea?
This is called as a disaster recovery, right? So even we should,
Yeah,
when you're working on an integration, you should also plan for the disaster. So what happens when something happens, when the system goes down? What happens to your data? What happens to your connection? Is there a failure takeover? Okay, is there
yeah.
a secondary now with Azure operating on different data centers? How do we plan for a backup? The secondary data center. What happens if the primary one goes down? Will the secondary one will be automatically triggered? So if you're arranging for a disaster recovery, what additional cost you might need to shed, all those we need to plan. So yeah, that is actually needed, Chris. I agree with that.
Okay, so when you are such a willing person, I'm your boss, say, and I come to you and I go, blah, blah, do the logic apps, blah, blah. You say yes to everything. Eventually, you're such a good person, good-hearted person, they take advantage of that. How do you stop yourself being overloaded? How does a person I was talking to, Belur, and she was telling me her fame, she's very famous for saying no. In fact, the only way I could get her to say yes was I said, "Is your favorite word no?" And she said yes. That was the one
Yes.
time she says yes. Okay. So, how do you get over the fact that if you're a person who takes on lots of responsibility, eventually you will be killed by way of doing things?
Yeah, this is the challenge I face every day. So I am the person who would say no if my tasks are juggled here. So see, the only thing if you say yes to everything, your plan will go for a toss. That is what I believe. So if you straightforward say no, if you can wait for me because these are all the priorities for which it is waiting, which is a critical deliverable. If this is not delivered, then that will be affect the other things as well. So if you can wait till these are completed, then I will speak to you regarding this. So only thing what I have learned during my journey here is learn to say no so that it doesn't affect your deliverable and other deliverables also. That is what I learned, Chris.
Okay, so I misread you then. It seemed that you said yes a lot, but I get you. You've actually got the no in you as well. Tell me about developers' future. If you're a developer right now, I see with the low-code environment, the Power Apps coming in, Logic Apps, Power Automate, and I also see with Microsoft's push towards D365, where they have the one version and then they have these layered updates coming in. As a developer, I see less role for them in those original areas, but with integrations and the need to connect to legacy apps, I see a massive open door. Uh, What other areas, if you were a new developer, what other areas could they consider moving towards so that they have a bright, shiny future?
See, low code doesn't mean that the complexity is low. So we should accept
Yeah.
that there will be more complexities there. Low code means no low complexities. So that is there. So what I am suggesting, if you are a new developer, if you are a budding developer, or if you are new to integration, start working on your peripheral areas. For instance, if it is on D365 F1O, the most closed connectors, the most closed middlewares are mostly logic apps or the power platform or the ADF. So it depends on the requirement, Chris. So for instance, if there is something ask for a transformation, then you could opt for ADF. Okay. ADF will be a new term to you, Azure Data Factory. but at least
Mm.
this can be taken as a chance to learn. Okay, hey, this is what ADS does, but maybe we can explore more. You need to grab the opportunity to learn. Okay, instead of saying no, hey, fine, ADF does for me. Okay, I will get the, I can explore something and get it for you. So you should always be open for, accepting the new learnings. And that is how I progress, because this is how I progress. Now I am saying no, but when it comes to learning, I will never say no. I will make sure I learn that something on that new technology. Okay, that is what you see regularly in my blog. Even now, the AI challenge, AI, when I was completing this AI challenge, Chris, so many new terms in that. There were 20 modules.
Mm.
From the front end, you see, okay, this is how AI is working. But behind the scene, so many algorithms, so many new terms. To digest all those, I had to go through 2, 3 times for each module in order to digest all this in my mind. So if you have a chance to learn, never say no. That is the way you can explore more and more integration, and what not only integration but other technologies as well.
True. And Azure has got an unlimited amount of technologies. People should get into that. So, what is the advice you'd give to someone? They have been given notice to leave their job. I get emails, messages from people saying, "Help me, I need a job. What can I do?" I give them the advice to get out there, change their profile, their resume, and because their LinkedIn profile is very like it's got smatterings in it. They don't actually fully explain what they do in each job. Often they then come back to me and say, but I don't have enough experience. So you're telling me about the learning. It's difficult for you with some of the terms in AI. How do they get this experience that employers always want? And they're
Okay,
losing
so
their job.
correct, I understand. And also, if you're losing a job, you will be in a confused state what to do next, because there will be a big question mark. What will be the next?
Mhm.
But fine. But what we can do, see now, if you being a developer, I can say you have some few free VMs given by Microsoft where you can use for
Yes.
every 2 hours keep yourself updated. So practice that, because now you have, from the technical side, you have lots of new concepts coming. You can practice it. It is not necessary you should have a subscription and then practice it. In my blog, I have given there is a Microsoft Learn where you can connect to a free VM, and that is available for 2 hours. After that, it will get disconnected. But again, you can connect to a new VM. You will not get that old session, but it will be a new session. Practice that. Keep updated, because as you said, if you keep the LinkedIn profile, it's like we are selling ourselves, right? The LinkedIn profile should speak for you. We need to tweak
Mm.
the LinkedIn profile as well, so that and people can understand this is what you have done and this is your strength, and that will be the best fit for their requirement. So these are all the few steps which we can take here.
Yes, I think people forget that others are looking at your profile secretly in the background. So you can't wait and go, oh, let me further explain why that isn't true or why there's more detail there. They're not listening. They're going quietly, they're reading the
Yes.
profile and making a decision. What's different to you about your job role on your LinkedIn, where you refer to yourself as a digital architect compared to a solutions architect that everyone else puts themselves as?
Seriously, frankly speaking, Chris, there is no much difference on the job what I am doing.
Okay.
The position matters here. That's it. Here in Sonata, I have been given as senior digital architect, but actually we are a solution architect here, where we will be projected in the first. We are the first phase to the customers, where we need to understand the requirements, where we will be doing the system assessment, fit gap analysis, right? So we will be there. So the labels are different, but the job remains the same for us here.
Okay, that makes sense now. Well, thank you so much, Anita, for talking to me about your journey from India through to here. What I've learned about you is that you're an amazing person in taking only a portion of the credit and sharing the love with the rest of your team. There's a great deal of gratitude from you towards others, and you always keep referring to them as a blessing. I've learned something from you, which that you see life as a team rather than the leader as being the one where all the flowers are thrown on and you get all the credit. And that's a big difference for me because many leaders do the self-aggrandizing. They don't realize there's a large team behind them. Is there anything that you would recommend for people aspiring to be like you, the journey towards becoming an MVP, how should they frame their mind?
Keep active in the community. See, for instance, don't think that you should become an MVP and start working on something else. For instance, my blog, that is my blog and session started not thinking that I should be an MVP. Just that I am active on community and I am sharing my learning with others. That had made me as an MVP. So start sharing the knowledge with others. You be it simple or complex. See, you might have solved some simple task, but that doesn't mean that others might have found it simple, right? Share whatever you have learned. So express. See, there are so many updates coming. Share the updates with the team. So all this will take you to a journey of MVP. And obviously, what I am saying, never lose an opportunity which knocks you for learning. So that is the best way.
And then, so what comes for you next? You've reached this pinnacle. Is there any dream of, I don't know, working for Microsoft? What happens next in your career?
Next in my career, nothing. I wanted to become more. Now integration is becoming a more buzzword, right? So I just wanted to explore more on the integration side, be it not only Azure, the Power Platform, and the scope is getting more and more. So I see myself as in next few years, I should be giving a session on the best. What are the integration approaches you can have? These are all the journey what I have done. So this I can give.
Okay, so integrations is going to be your partner for the next 3 years or something, yeah.
Yes.
That's great. Okay, well, I wish you all the best for that. Are you going to any of the summits or the conferences that are coming up for D365? Or you tend to be UK based?
UK based, I am checking if I am able to attend. Then it depends on my calendar, what I have in my organization also. But usually if it is a virtual, I make sure I never miss to attend. So I will make sure that I should attend that.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Anitha.
Thanks a lot, Tess. Nice speaking to you. You are a wonderful person. I learned a lot from you in this conversation. Yeah, have a good day. I think I have disturbed you early in the morning, I think.
No, I'm going to go have a coffee now. But you know, my mum came from Coimbatore too, and I could never pronounce it. Yeah.
Coimbatore.
Yeah.
Coimbatore. Okay. Say my hi to her.
Okay, thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mobiz is a community-run organization. We believe in liberating people from the shackles of monotony, inspiring them to dream bigger and reach higher. We empower them to focus on the things that matter, growing their skills, solving new problems, and helping others on a global scale.
We eliminate manual work that stands between people and their future, preventing them from learning new technologies, unleashing their talents, and leaving a legacy that has a lasting impact.
Freedom doesn't wait. Join us at mobiz.com.